Tempers flare at India-Australia 4th Test. Kohli's altercation with Aussie batter.
Then a word from Konstas. And then others got stuck in.
Kohli shoulder bumps debutant Konstas. Kohli penalised 20% of his match fees. Gloves off in Boxing Day Test at MCG. Top focus on 5 Live.
No stranger to aggression on the field. The Australians are no one to lecture anyone when it comes to bad behaviour on the field. But was Virat Kohli's gesture simply needless, and that too against a debutant in Konstas in Australia? We're going to look into that right here on 5 Live. Thanks as always for being with me. I'm Shiv. Joining me live now is Sunil Gavaskar, former India captain, on the Border Gavaskar Trophy. The tempers flying in Australia at this time owing to what Virat Kohli did. Sunny, what do you make of this incident that transpired between Kohli and Konstas?
Well, I'm not sure what was the reason, but there really was no need for that. We don't need to have this in any grade of cricket, and certainly not at the highest level. You can play very, very competitive cricket without getting physical. So, and also I think we all want to remember Kohli as one of the greatest cricketers ever in the game, and not as somebody who was fined, whatever it is, or censured by the ICC. We don't want to hear that, and so maybe he will learn. Hopefully, he'll learn from that and not want to repeat this again. I think competitiveness is absolutely inbuilt in him. We've always seen that, how he celebrates every wicket taken, every catch, every good fielding by his teammates. We understand that, and that is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think getting physical, I think it should be done.
Do you think that Virat was simply trying to rattle the opposition? This is, after all, Australia, a country that, a team that has been past masters when it comes to, playing with your mind games, even sort of very ill-tempered sledging and things like that. Do you think Virat was just trying to play it back at them?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you're playing for India, if that's not big enough incentive, then I don't know what incentive you need. Playing for India itself is such a huge privilege that we could be playing the number 69th ranked team in the world, or the number 1 team in the world. That should be enough motivation.
So I want to bring in India Today's sports desk who've been looking at obviously these things very closely. Mr. Gavaskar, thank you very much for joining us on this. Vikrant Gupta, sports editor, Rahul Rawat, looking at it very closely. Harshit Ahuja also will be breaking down the finer aspects of what action has been applied in the wake of what Virat Kohli did. Vikrant, I'd like to start it off with you. Why did this happen? What is your reading of what Virat Kohli did?
Nothing. It just began like that. In fact, I think the Indians were rattled by the way the 19-year-old came out. The first 3-4 overs, he didn't have a clue as to what was happening in Test cricket. And I could see the visuals of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant in the slips, giggling at the batsman. And then that guy, the next 15-20 minutes, the way he batted, I think he riled up the Indians. Rather unnecessary gamesmanship. But then, gamesmanship will always have a double-edged sword. It may work out well for you. It may not. There are times when, the end will justify the means, and you would say that, oh, see, Virat is also trying to be aggressive. He's psyching himself up. But I still remember a series, Shiv, in 2017 against Australia and India. Go back to that series. I mean, that's the series when Steve Smith had that brain fade. And Virat was all over the place. He was the captain of the team. But he did not score runs. India barely won the series. Virat did not score the runs. And, my view's always been different. Like Sunny Bhai said, you would also want to be remembered as somebody who played the game in the spirit of the game. Yes, if there's a verbal war, if one person is saying something, you retaliate. That's a different thing, and sledging is a part and parcel of the game. But physical contact, remember, Shiv, is prohibited in the game of cricket. This is not rugby. This is not cricket. And I dare say that Virat and the Indians should consider themselves very lucky at the way he's escaped with just a minor rap on his knuckles.
Indeed, one was actually wondering whether there's going to be harsher action, Rahul. A 20% match fee docked for Virat Kohli. How did you think that played out? Obviously, the Indian team was rattled. Virat Kohli acted out on it. Do you think that he's got off easy with the 20% match fee being docked?
Well, if you ask me, Shiv, definitely, I think he's been let off with just a rap on his knuckles. But Shiv, ever since the Indian team has landed in Melbourne, a lot has happened of late. When Virat Kohli just landed at the Melbourne airport, you would remember a Channel 7 reporter was there with a crew, and Virat actually objected to the fact that they were trying to film Virat's family. In fact, at that time, it seemed as a misunderstanding, but again, it had snowballed into a controversy. Then at Ravindra Jadeja's press conference, when some of the people who were present there indicated that the Indian player, that is Jadeja, didn't want to answer in English, and he just left the press conference. Later, it was also assumed that the press conference was only and only for the Indian media, not the Australian media.
Yeah.
And now this one. Also, there was an attempt, if I may say so, that the Indians were given, poor quality wickets to practice just before this test match a couple of days back. But all that had subsided the moment the first ball was bowled here at the MCG and in this test. But then what? Because, there is a very fine line between spirit of the game and rules of the game. Here it seemed as a deliberate attempt from Virat, because he walked across that wicket that wasn't used that was not being used for this match, and he just bumped into Sam Constance. And Sam Constance in his press conference later in the evening, he said that Virat accidentally bumped into him. So he also perhaps that could also have gone in favor of Virat Kohli.
True.
But this was just level 1 offense. Shiv, we are just looking at that 20% fine, which is a match fee for a test cricketer in India is close to 15 lakhs. So 20% would amount to 3 lakhs. That perhaps is nothing for an elite A+ category cricketer like Virat Kohli. But not to forget, he has also been sanctioned with 1 demerit point. One demerit point, if that over a period of 12 months, if he can accumulate, if Virat accumulates 2 more demerit points, he will be suspended for at least 1 test match.
Okay.
1 test match, he can be banned for a test match. So here in this case, because he was charged with level 1 offense.
Okay.
Level 1 offense, maximum penalty is Shiv, 50% match fee will be, you'll be fined 50% of your match fee, and at most 2 demerit points.
Okay.
So in this case, if the match referee has decided that it was not a deliberate attempt, it seems a little surprising.
Yeah,
and
true.
As you asked me earlier, I think Virat Kohli and the Indian team would breathe a sigh of relief that he's been let off with just the punishment or penalty.
Vikrant, one final word from you. What is it about India, Australia that gets everyone's blood up? Like we just showed in our report, this is hardly the first time that tempers have flared in this manner. You've covered this for so many years. You've even been there in person, I suspect, when some of these things have happened. What is that masala of India, Australia that gets everyone's tempers lost so easily?
Well, it's the colonial hangover Plus, I think it is also the new India versus Pakistan. Australia, India. India were the first team to challenge Australia. Teams had been winning at home, but India were the first ones to go to Australia in 2003-4 under Saurav Ganguly, challenged them. They drew the series, and subsequently, if you remember the Monkey Gate in 2007-8, where India actually won a test match in Perth. And then subsequently, India started building up, and the Virat Gavaskar trophy has been with the Indians since 2014. So, there's this intense rivalry. The Australians play their cricket very hard, very tough on the field. Off the field, they can be great friends. I think Virat has been a competitor. Before him, if you remember Saurav Ganguly, Saurav had a different method to rile up the Australians, and Virat is more in your face. But I believe, like Rahul said, Shiv, the last week, 10 days, there've been controversies which the Australians never wanted. I mean, I'm not saying that the Indians created those controversies. I mean, the airport controversy, or the Hindi versus English debate, or the practice pitches. I mean, these are very usual things. But I do have a feeling now that I think this is a very conscious effort from the Indians, the Indian dressing room, the team management, to take it back to the Australians. The only worry here is, Shiv, the series is 1-1. I would not say that this test match hangs in balance, but there are 4 more days to go. Australia clear favourites. But if India do not bat well tomorrow, and if you let the aggression get the better of you, then that'll be a problem for India. Like I said, you do certain things, and if the end could justify the means, well done, well played. If it doesn't, this could actually come back to haunt India.
Vikrant and Rahul, thanks very much for joining me with that very valuable perspective, because, in this age of viral videos on social media, it's important to understand the underlying context to what's happening. It's not just about Virat Kohli trying to rattle someone else. There's a background to what is going on, and that is important to understand, even if we all perhaps agree that this was a completely needless controversy. In an interview with India Today's news director Rahul Kaval over the 2012 finger flipping incident, most famous one, Kohli said he has a lot of anger in him, perhaps with no surprise at all. Listen in.
Maybe flipping the middle finger was something that I could have sort of skipped it.
तो हो कैसे गया ये?
See, I'm a no nonsense person, so बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया था. दिल्ली का हूँ यार, क्या करूँ?
And there are ICC code of conduct, rules which are very clear to all players. Harshit, just take us through them so we understand better, what Virat Kohli perhaps could have faced and what he actually has. Harshit.
Absolutely. The one word that went around after the incident broke out, Shiv, was that could Virat Kohli be facing suspension from the all-important Sydney match? Well, he could have. If you look at what the ICC Code of Conduct and the range of sanctions, are all about, clearly this is something that Virat Kohli could have looked at. However, he's gotten away cheaply, I would say. This is level 1 of the offence, as has been deemed by the match referee. There are 3 levels of offences. We're going to be talking about the first 2, because this is the sort of territory in which Virat Kohli was for those few hours after the incident broke out. Now, the first level of offence, as I just pointed out, the sanction for that, well, either you get away with a warning or a fine up to 50% of the match fee. There's a bifurcation over there that everyone needs to understand. If you're given 1 demerit point, then you're charged about 25% of your match fee. But in Virat's case, that fee was down to 20%. So it was 2 demerit points is when you get 26 to 51 demerit point for anything less than 25%. So Virat Kohli gets 1 demerit point. So every player has a record, her disciplinary record. In Virat Kohli's case, he's been awarded 1 demerit point as he's got to lose, or as he's been charged 20% of his match fee. Had 2 demerit points been given as deemed by the match referee, then Virat Kohli would have copped 2 demerit points in his disciplinary record. Why I said suspension earlier is because had it been deemed as a level 2 offence, then the range of sanctions are anywhere between 50 to 100% of the match fee to 2 demerit points or 2 suspension points. Now, 2 suspension points is what gets you a match suspension, and that amounts to 4 demerit points. So Virat avoided this particular situation. Had it been 4 demerit points, which then get translated to 2 suspension points, in that case Virat Kohli would have been suspended. However, had it been 3 demerit points, again, this is not something that Virat ultimately ended up copying, but players in the past have been given 3 and 4 demerit points as well.
Harshit, thanks very much for that. And as I wrap this segment, while we do acknowledge, what happened may have been needless, let me also make it a point to mention here that the Australians play hard and dirty. They are past masters. In many ways, the real purveyors of the dirty stuff that happens on the field. There's a lot of sledging that takes place, a lot of abusive behavior, a lot of violent behavior. So the Australians know a thing or two about it. So if we zoom out just a little bit and stop giving gyan to the likes of Virat Kohli, because they're the ones in the trenches actually playing these matches, and while acknowledging that everyone can get rattled, let's make it very clear, we are on Team Virat. There is no question about it when we are talking about this national hero. Thanks, Harshit, for joining us on that. And breaking news coming in from Chennai, politics over the sexual assault case on the Anna University campus in Chennai has escalated. Tamil Nadu's BJP Chief K, Annamalai, says the police has leaked the victim's identity. The victim is a student at Anna University. Annamalai says, "Will flog myself 6 times tomorrow, will not wear my footwear till the DMK is overthrown," and he has just announced very dramatically a 48-day hunger strike against the crime that has taken place on the campus of Anna University. Pictures released by Annamalai with the allegation that the perpetrator of this crime is linked in some way to the DMK. That's what he is saying. There is no evidence of this at this time, but the politics, of course, is intensifying. Let me bring in India Today's Shilpa Nair for more on this. Shilpa, Annamalai of the BJP appearing to take this up in a big way. He's apparently going to be sitting on some kind of a hunger strike. He's announced, I won't wear my chappals until the DMK government is overthrown. What's going on?
Well, yes, Shiv, in fact, just a short while back, Tamil Nadu BJP Chief K, Annamalai, he lost his cool. He got extremely angry at the DMK government while he was addressing a press conference in Coimbatore. He was, of course, speaking about the sexual assault case that took place at Anna University, one of the premier institutes in Tamil Nadu. A female student was sexually assaulted by a man named Gnanashekaran on December 23rd. And the opposition's charge, both the BJP and the AIADMK, have been claiming that this Gnanashekaran is a functionary of the ruling DMK. In fact, they've released pictures of him with several DMK leaders, including Deputy Chief Minister Udayanidhi Stalin, the Health Minister Mar Subramaniam, etc. But the DMK, on the other hand, says Gnanashekaran is not even a member of the DMK, and leaders like Udayanidhi Stalin and Mar Subramaniam are all public representatives, public leaders, party leaders, and it is normal for people to come and take pictures, and that is not any proof of the fact that Gnanashekaran is connected with the DMK. That is the justification that was given out by the Law Minister here, S. Raghupati, in a press conference that he held earlier this morning. But the issue has become completely political, with Tamil Nadu BJP Chief K. Annamalai also alleging that the state police leaked the FIR in this case, which reveals the full identity of the victim, her name, her father's name, her address, her mobile number even. And he says this is a complete breach and completely throwing the sensitivity of the case. And he is, of course, questioning the intent of the police, the manner in which the FIR was framed and written. He says it was written in a way to shame the victim. And he got extremely angry. It was a highly aggressive press meet that Annamalai just gave in Coimbatore. And he says he's going to remove his chappal. He, in fact, removed his chappal in that press conference venue and says, "I'll not wear a chappal until the DMK government is overthrown." And he says he's going to flog himself 6 times tomorrow outside his residence and also take a 48-day fast. And he'll visit all the 6 abodes of Lord Murugan. That is something that he said. He says, I'm sick and tired of the politics that the DMK plays, trying to divert attention from people's issues, saying that and playing the north-south politics card and all of that. And he says this is the time for change and we need to do something concrete to ensure that there is accountability. So clearly he went all guns blazing against the DMK government and saying that it is the police that leaked the FIR in the case, revealing the identity of the victim, and also saying that Gnanashekaran, despite being a repeat offender, he was not on the rowdy list of the police because of the political connections he has with the DMK. So a barrage of charges leveled by Annamalai, and also saying that he's not going to wear a chappal until DMK is overthrown.
Okay, a very aggressive press release and a press conference, Shilpa. Thanks very much for that. The political uproar over this sexual assault case with the perpetrator alleged by the BJP to have links with the DMK. Here are some of those reactions that's just coming.
Sir, it is a politics. It is a politics. So they are doing their duty, we are doing our duty. Annamalai is charging only the DMK party because he wants to involve DMK into that crime. But we won't allow him to allow him. We have in no way connected with that crime. But
that to Chennai, when DMK says it is our fort, all the MLAs are from DMK, all the MPs are from DMK, predominant of councillors from DMK. This is the city which is safeguarding a woman, which is safeguarding a child, which is safeguarding a student. And all of us hung our head in shame. One, the moral fabric of society. One, the blame on the government for their failure. And I just hope and pray Tamil Nadu government acts, at least gives the police the freedom now. And this should be the first and the last this kind of things is happening in our state.
This is coming in the... Sources say the offender is an outsider. He had come inside the campus, committed that heinous crime, and it's been a shocker to everyone. How can an outsider come inside the premises when there is so much of security? Clearly exposes the plight of law and order, the state of law and order, and the safety of women and children in the state of Tamil Nadu under this incompetent leader M.K. Stalin. What's more shocking is, an hour ago, police are saying that all the CCTVs inside the universities is not functioning, it has been failed. Is this a blatant attempt to cover up something? Is this a blatant attempt to safeguard the culprits or the people who had committed this heinous crime? What is expected is to give more powers to the police force to investigate this freely without any political pressures and bring in more transparency.
The parents of the students will get afraid after this crime. So I request the police personnel to take proper actions to protect the girl students in each and every universities, institutions, hostels. It's very essential.
Now, the DMK has called it a BJP conspiracy. They haven't responded substantively to the allegation of the photographs released by Annamalai, saying that this person is linked to the DMK. Okay, we have Narayanan Tirupati of the BJP in Tamil Nadu with us, but we'll go to him anyway. Mr. Tirupati, your state president has decided to go on a hunger strike over what has happened in Anna University.
Not only that, the way the DMK, this Dravida model, so-called Dravida model government, trying to, shut down all these things, shut down all the voices against the atrocities done by these people. That is why Mr. Annamalai, our state president, a youngster, he has come forward, to suffer himself, to get away from this rule. There is no other go. He has to sacrifice so many things, and we are literally the emotional speech what he had given during the press meet is not only emotional, but definitely it is very sad state of affairs what is happening in Tamil Nadu. That is the reason, and really it's shocking the way the FIR was filed, the way the girl's phone number address, everything has been given in the FIR. It has been leaked by the police itself. Definitely, it was very, Annamalai was very furious. In fact, I was watching this before this phone came. So, I think what Mr. Annamalai is doing is 100% right. And definitely, we will see to it that the DMK rule it definitely is moved out. Because these people are trying to create a very tense situation in Tamil Nadu. There is a huge lawlessness in Tamil Nadu. 2 years have passed, Shiv, 2 years have passed after this Vengavale incident where the human carcass was found in the water tank where the Dalit people are there. So nothing has happened to the Tamil Nadu police or the government. And that is the reason Mr. Annamalai is so angry that he has decided to take this decision.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Tirupati, for speaking to India Today. We've got some big breaking news coming in now. Okay, and some unexpected big news that's possibly coming in for Indian taxpayers in the upcoming days, with reports suggesting a tax cut for the salaried class making up to 15 lakh rupees per year. According to Reuters, the budget could provide to the middle class a new tax cut and boost consumption to counter the recent slowdown in the economy. The move could benefit crores of taxpayers who opt for the new tax regime, which shuns exemptions. Reuters says its sources who did not want to be named said the government had not decided on the size of the tax cuts and that any decision would be taken closer to budget day, which, as you know, is on the 1st of February. Let me bring in India Today's Aishwarya Paliwal for more on this. Aishwarya, Reuters reporting an upcoming tax cut. That's music to many people's ears for the upcoming budget. Are you hearing the same?
Well, Shiv, I definitely am hearing the same, and it is good news for people like you and I, because we are the ones who are paying a huge amount in the form of taxes, and the government is now very sincerely looking at making sure that there is some sort of tax cut which is being given so that you and I, we have more money in our pockets, and that will then lead to an increase in consumption, and that will make sure that the entire cycle of consumption then moves even faster. Because if we want to become a developed nation by 2047, and this is what the finance minister and the prime minister, they have been working towards, the idea is to make sure that people have more money so that the spending power increase, and as a result, we'll see a domino effect.
Okay,
how much the tax cut will be, Shiv?
Yes.
There is still some time, but let me tell you, almost every day in the finance ministry, even inside the PMO, there are regular meetings that are taking place. The economists have also given in their bid both to the Prime Minister's office and to the Finance Ministry, and we will see this solidified in the election, in the budget. The budget is on the 1st of Feb, so we will see some kind of tax cut, some kind of relief coming into the salaried class in this budget.
Very good news this budget season, and we'll wait for the government to confirm it. But of course, Aishwarya confirming it that she's hearing the same thing as well. We'll tell you more once we have an official note from the government on this story. Meanwhile, a massive international human trafficking racket has apparently come under the scanner for the Enforcement Directorate, with 262 Canadian colleges allegedly being part of a human trafficking syndicate network that's operating between Canada and India. 2 Indian entities are said to be at the center of this operation, which involves 1,700 agents in Gujarat and 3,500 across India, including 800 active agents nationwide. The traffickers reportedly charge 55 to 60 lakh rupees per individual, targeting Indian nationals seeking illegal entry into the United States via Canada. The modus operandi involves securing admission to Canadian colleges who are part of this entire scam as a cover, followed by illegal migration to the US and then illegal infiltration across the border into the United States via Canada. So this is something that the Enforcement Directorate is now looking very closely at. India Today's Divyesh Singh is live with me. Divyesh, 262 Canadian colleges apparently are the those that provide these student visas for people who go there in their thousands as part of an organized human trafficking mafia, and who are then never attend these colleges and then quietly go across the border into the US.
Well, Shiv, you pointed out rightly, these students or these persons who want to move to the United States of America apply to these Canadian colleges, and these colleges are very well aware that they've start admission, they pay the fees, and they do not attend even a single day of that college. They land in Canada, and immediately over there, human trafficking agents take them to the border of United States of America, and from there they are illegally into the United States of America. That has now come to light in the investigation of Enforcement Directorate, which started investigation on basis of the death of Indian nationals, family of Indian nationals who died, who froze to death. Jignesh Bhai Patel, his wife, his 11-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son froze to death at Canada-US border near Minnesota in January 2022. After that, there was a case registered by the DCB-CID Gujarat, and then a case was also registered by the Enforcement Directorate, which has uncovered this complete ring where 262 colleges from Canada are inviting applicants from India.
Thanks very much, Divyesh, for uncovering this story for us. I want to get an expert perspective also on this story. Maruf Raza, who you know well, is with me live. He's Managing Director of Access Abroad Education Consultancy. You also know him as a very well-known commentator on strategic affairs. Maruf, good to see you. Thank you for your time here on India Today. Were you aware about this, Maruf? You deal with education and consultancy towards that. The Enforcement Directorate now looking at a human trafficking syndicate that involves 262 Canadian colleges.
Well, this thing has been in the air on and off for years. And the fact that agents, students, and even the visa awarding bodies are all part of this bigger game is also known. The thing is that nobody really gets to the nub of the matter and penalizes those and stops this process of human trafficking, where people are using the education route, and education is relatively regarded as a far more sacred, sacrosanct way of entering another country. And they are using that route now to take in students and eventually not make them study, but make them part of the employment brigades that are all over the US. Mr. Trump has made it known that he's going to come down very hard on it, but I don't think even he, with all his powers, can put an end to this abruptly. It'll take a while. And also the fact is that people are willing to spend a tidy fortune to get their visa, to get themselves abroad. And this could range from 40 to 60 to 80 lakhs. And this is a lot of money for an ordinary person who's taking the illegal route. This is about that much of money what you pay for your higher education, admission and qualification. There are stringent rules. You have to pass an English language test. You have to produce documentation from the university confirming that they've granted you admission and they want you there. They would also need to produce proof of where they're going to study, who's going to be their mentor, who's going to support them there. So it's a complicated process. And to get past it, you need to have really shrewd, well-tuned agents who are going to be doing this and who are doing it. So it doesn't happen by the click of a button. It's a whole process. It takes sometimes many months, sometimes many years. So, but people are willing to go the long stretch to make sure that they get there. And once they get there,
Maruf, is the Canadian government simply looking the other way in this case?
Yeah, in a way, it's not done intentionally by the Indian government, but I think it's lax attitude of government officials towards this. At the same time, with Canadian government pointing fingers at India and the fact that Indians don't follow rules, they must look into the mirror and ask themselves this question: Why are they allowing it to happen on their territory with such transparent, stringent rules of getting a visa and getting into that country? You can't control it.
Yeah.
Then why are you blaming India?
Indeed, very true. Marufaza, thank you for your time and for putting that into valuable perspective for us, because 262 colleges is a huge number. 3,500 touts and agents operating from India is frankly quite unsettling. So it's a good thing that at least it's under the scanner now. We will, of course, look more deeply into it. Marufaza with that perspective there. And finally, before we end, billionaire Elon Musk posted a picture of himself on Christmas dressed as who else but Santa Claus, and called himself an Ozempic Santa, referring to the type 2 diabetes drug for weight loss, stirring a buzz once again around the drug. Here's a detailed report. See you on the other side.
Elon Musk has once again done what he does best, disrupted and set the agenda on social media. It was this tweet showing a slimmed-down version of Musk in a Santa suit which caught the attention. Then came this tweet in which he named the drug Mounjaro as the one being responsible for his weight loss. Several more posts followed, including the ones in which he compared the side effects of Ozempic and Mounjaro. Later, Musk took a deep dive into risk-benefit analysis of weight loss drugs and how the new generation is more than just GLP-1 inhibitors. So the basic question, what is Mounjaro and is it available in India? Mounjaro is a drug developed by Eli Lilly based on an active ingredient called tirzepatide. This ingredient was launched under two brands by the company, Mounjaro for diabetes and Zepbound for weight loss. The two drugs have been available in the United States for the last 1 year. In India, the drug was given approval for diabetes control in July. However, it's not received a go-ahead yet for weight loss. Studies show Mounjaro can reduce body weight by up to 18% in 72 weeks by inhibiting food intake. The drug is injected in 6 different doses, ranging from 2.5 mg to 12.5 mg. It's different from semaglutide, which is sold as Ozempic, in the way it creates insulin and a sensation of fullness. Mounjaro has not yet been launched in India and is expected to hit the market early next year. Mounjaro injections, nevertheless, have been available in the Indian grey market for the past few months, but they cost a bomb. Business Today TV spoke to some users who said they were paying anywhere between 50 to 90,000 rupees for 4 doses. The injection is usually taken once a week, which translates to 4 times a month. Reports say the official launch price of Mounjaro is expected to be around 15,000 rupees an injection. Experts, however, warn the feeling of fullness created by the injection could end up depriving the body of essential minerals and vitamins in the long run. There's also danger of fake injections in the market, particularly those being brought from China. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.